Hi everyone, my name is RJ Rodriguez, and I will be talking about the Brown versus Board of Education court case. Now, this court case is definitely a more sadder one in history. However, there's a lot of history and lessons to be learned as a result of this court case. Now, I'll be talking many times about the progress towards equal opportunities and education for all. And I think that this class is a great class to be able to learn about how we can foster an environment where all forms of learning are encouraged, and we also can learn how we can be experts in teaching such diverse learners. So, talking about the Brown versus Board of Education, the foundation is really set by the Jim Crow laws. And these laws actually legalized segregation at one time. Now, I'm sure segregation, you've heard of it many times throughout your academic journey, but the whole idea of it is that Black Americans wouldn't receive the full benefit of their citizenship as opposed to a white person. So, this whole court case starts off with Oliver and Linda Brown. Now, Oliver Brown is the father to Linda Brown. And so it was about the time when Linda was about to approach kindergarten and he was ready to enroll her in school. Now, they had a local school about a block away from them, and it was called the summer school. Now, that's a little bit misleading because it was not summer school, that just happened to be the name of their school. However, Oliver Brown went to talk to the principal about enrolling Linda. And Oliver was essentially shut down because the principal said that Linda had no place in the school due to the color of her skin. And although it was a hard pill to swallow, Oliver did. And he decided to enroll Linda in a black school. Now, this black school was 2 hours away from their residential house. And this meant that Linda would have to get on a bus for 1 hour, and then someone would have to then drive her the other hour in order for her to get education. Now, this made Linda, a kindergartner, maybe first grader, so exhausted, and it started to drain her. And Oliver noticed, and he wasn't going to let it slide. So he started this movement to essentially make schools reevaluate if they really are following the ethical protocol. And a lot of historians will tell you different ways that they think Oliver was able to make this and amplify this court case. However, we really don't have any documentation of necessarily how he was able to get so much support in this case. However, what we can tell you is that the opposing side, who didn't think that Linda Brown and other black students should be able to attend white schools, came down to another law that was passed, which is the Plessy versus Ferguson. Now, this was an idea that black people and white people could be separated. However, their separate had to be equal. And you'll hear that phrase often referred when someone brings up this case. And as a result, you would see things like in the background where it's white men and colored men. They'd often be separated. However, even in public places like these, it wasn't always equal and they wouldn't get the same treatment. And the same thing translated when it came to schools. They had white schools and black schools. Again, the 2 hour car ride is just an example of how things are not equal. And so eventually, this ended up getting outlawed. And as a result, the Brown versus Board of Education could be kind of disregarded because of the fact that now black and white students could attend the same school. However, when society found out about this, there was a lot of riots and there was a lot of protests, ones like the one that you can see. There were a lot of outraged people, which the outraged people ended up making their voices so apparent that they would be frustrated with the fact that now that schools were meshing, this meant that there was a possibility that their white student would be taught by a black teacher. And this was so infuriating for them that a lot of black educators ended up getting fired, so principals and teachers. Now, this is a really big issue because representation in the classroom does matter. and this meant that there's not a lot of representation for Black American students. So, although we do wish that the Brown versus Board of Education case had resulted in more acceptance, now in modern times we reap the benefits of a court case like this because we as a society have learned many important lessons. Some that might seem like common knowledge now, but was a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. We learned lessons like everyone has the right to learn, and society should accept diversity in schools. And one of the most important things that we learned is that although progress is slow, with determination, change is possible. Now, how, as future teachers, can we look at this case and get inspired? So, we can look at this case and understand the privilege we have to be able to teach such diverse groups of people. And students and their cultures shouldn't have to be silenced in the classroom for it to be successful. In fact, I'm all for fostering where people can, mention their cultures and even just not always be the same person and to really accept change in the classroom. So, although this court case again did not have the happy ending we wished it did, we now, 60 years later, reap so many more benefits because of the hardships that everyone else went through. So I hope that this kind of lesson that we learned does inspire you in some ways to really foster an environment for everyone. So here are my sources for this slide, and I appreciate you watching my legislator research presentation and mini history lesson. Right, thank you.